We're Laura and Aaron, and 4 years ago we set out looking for a simple life of freedom in nature. We didn't have much money, but we scraped together our savings and managed to build this little cabin on wheels out of mostly upcycled materials. As soon as we finished our conversion, we drove straight to the mountains, and ever since we've just been camping up in really wild places in nature all around Europe.
If you're new here, we're currently travelling through the French Alps, searching for some healing after what's been a really traumatic few months for us. My dad suddenly and unexpectedly passed away, and it obviously shook us both to the core, but we knew that getting back to the mountains would provide us with the stillness we need to feel like ourselves again, and it is working. We're getting better each day. In last week's episode, we decided to head further south of France as the summer heat was really kicking in, and we found ourselves this free camping spot on the side of this beautiful turquoise blue lake where we just spent the day hanging out on the water, taking it easy and just having the odd swim to cool down.
Today we woke up again by this beautiful turquoise lake. It's somewhere we've called home the past few days, and to be honest, we're not really tired of it yet. The nice thing about the summer heat is that it absolutely forces us to wake up early. In winter we can sleep in until midday, but in summer the van gets so hot, you know, living in a metal box, it gets kind of unpleasant in the heart of summer, and it forces us to get up nice and early, which is quite nice really, because it means that we're outside enjoying the lake before all of the tourists arrive and before the lake gets too busy.
The other day when we were on our pedal boat, we noticed that the water sports centre actually had some stand-up paddle boards to rent, and we've always wanted to try this out. We actually carry around a kayak with us normally in the van, which just takes a really long time to inflate, and we find ourselves barely ever using it because of this. So we have been thinking about replacing it with some stand-up paddle boards, and after trying them out this morning we found that we really like it, and more importantly Luffy enjoys it too, because she's not really the best when it comes to water.
After we got back from the paddle boat, we noticed this gorgeous little butterfly waiting for us in the van. And while we were out on the water, we actually noticed that across the lake on the opposite side, there was this really nice spot where our camper van was parked up. It looked much better than this spot where we are. So we decided to hop in the front and drive around to the other side. But it didn't take long after we left to realise that something was going on. There was all these strange vehicles and then just camper vans parked up on the side of the road for miles and miles, and lots of people waving flags. And after asking around, it turns out there's an enormous cycling event happening here today called the Tour de France, and we were completely oblivious to this. Everybody else who is here for the cycling thing, and we were just here to enjoy the lake.
But before the cycling even starts, there's like several hours of these big floats driving past from different brands, and they basically just throw stuff at you like little bits of salami and tea towels. It was all very strange, but the energy was so good that we really got into it, especially when the cyclists went past. It's not exactly how we expect our afternoon to go, but it was probably one of those once in a lifetime experiences, so we're not complaining.
After a while, the lake returned to its calm and tranquil self, and we made a little bit of dinner with our vegan cheese and pasta and settled down for what we really thought was going to be a calm night on the lake.
We were just winding down for the day and getting all ready to go to bed, and suddenly all these cars started pulling into where we were parked up for the night.
It's so crazy. It's absolutely crowded here now. It's absolutely jam-packed with cars, and loads of locals are here. Apparently there's going to be a huge firework display tonight.
Why not? Yeah.
Just like this day has just been so full of surprises, and now apparently, you know, we're going out with a bang.
The energy is just really lovely. Everyone's happy and anticipating a lovely display, and we're going to enjoy it from the comfort of our little home. It's the first time actually watching fireworks through the van, and also our first time seeing them with Luffy. We were a little bit anxious that she might be scared of them, because we know quite a lot of dogs are, but thankfully she wasn't scared at all. She was just more curious as to what on earth was happening up in the sky. We've decided this morning to leave this lovely spot that we've been calling home for the last few days.
Yeah, we're going to move on, hopefully find somewhere that's a bit quieter, because as you've seen, this has been very, very crowded here. And also hopefully somewhere a bit cooler. It's been really warm. We've noticed Luffy's panting, and we really don't want her to be overheating.
No, not at all. And it's been very, very hot for us as well. We're not used to this kind of temperature, and the van in summer especially gets extremely hot, even though we've insulated the whole thing. We've got all these windows around, so all the heat comes in. So yeah, a metal box in summer is not the best thing to be living in.
No, so we're going to go maybe higher altitude, just like drive further up into the mountains. But before we go, we thought it'd be really nice to just visit that little waterfall that we found the other day when we were on the pedal boat.
Yeah, we didn't actually go for a wild swim at all, and it looks like the most idyllic wild swim spot, so we're just going to go and enjoy that.
There is a place where I let to go into the depths of the great unknown, scented by earthy and floral tones. Everything breathes and the energy flows. So much to do in such little time, leaves me with too many trees to climb. I can't escape, but I have to try to get a grip of my worrying mind.
That water was freezing cold, but to be honest, we're really glad that we came and had a swim, partly because our bodies needed to cool down from this heat, but also just because sometimes it's kind of hard to leave a place that's so gorgeous until you know that you've absolutely soaked up every little moment that you could here. And I think now we're feeling more okay with finally saying goodbye to this spot that's hosted us for the last few days. So we're moving on to a new part of the Alps that we've not seen before, and we're just excited to get back into the higher altitudes that we're so used to, and our bodies can just regulate a little bit in their temperature.
we found an absolutely amazing wild camping spot for the night. The mountains here are unbelievable, to be honest with you. There's some of them that have got snow on the peaks, and it just makes everything feel a little bit more magical. The drive up to this spot was like a 10-15 minute journey up a dirt track, and we find that normally the places at the end of dirt tracks are just so isolated and peaceful, and are usually some of the best wild camping spots that we've found.
Our morning routine in the van always just starts with getting dressed nice and slowly and then tidying away all the mess that's left out on the countertops from the night before, which is often just our clothes that we were wearing yesterday and our dishes that we've not yet washed up. We're so pleased that we moved higher up into the mountains. The temperatures dropped by about 10 degrees C. I think we've got to be like 1,800 meters high in altitude now. So Luffy is much happier at this altitude.
Yeah, and we're much happier too,
yeah,
because it means we can have the van doors open and there's a lovely mountain breeze just running through, which makes our van life so much easier because we're not sweltering like we have been the last few days.
Exactly. And the other nice thing about this altitude above the tree line is that all the wildflowers just bloom like crazy. The hills are just covered in like pinks and yellows.
Yeah,
it's so pretty.
It's lovely to just be reunited with, like, it feels like that they're old friends, you know. We haven't seen them for a while and now they're back, and we just appreciate them even more now.
Yeah. So today we're just going to take it really easy and just enjoy like a nice breezy summer's day.
Yeah, and we've also seen on the maps that there's a tiny lake just further up the mountain that we're definitely going to go and check out, because apparently it's only like 20 minutes away.
Out in the wheat fields, Verity she hides. Under her feet there's a badger passing by. Further ahead she can see the robin smile. This is the place where she goes to think for a while. Swings with her basket, taking in the air. Down through the rows to see who else might be there. Madam Hedgehog with Graven or Solomon the Hare. In the place where she goes to listen and share.
When we first started living in our van a few years ago, we hadn't really adapted to the enormous lifestyle shift compared to when we used to live in like student houses. All the little tasks throughout your day just take up so much longer when you're in a van. Things like washing up the dishes and cooking, especially because you don't have anywhere near as much counter space. You can't store as many ingredients, you know, you're only cooking on one camping stove instead of in a house where you usually have 4 stoves. And because of all that, you know, we were trying to make a dish like ratatouille, for example, that, you know, might take us half an hour in a house, and in a van it just takes forever. And so recently we've figured out a really good hack to save ourselves some time, is just buying these little jars of pre-made ratatouille that we can just pop on some bread or with some pasta and create a lovely meal that doesn't take us any time.
All the little things that she planted, all the little things that she took for granted, one by one they quickly fade into nothing. Funny how the mind plays tricks once you started questioning where you belong. Worried you got it all wrong. Just look at Verity. She's lost, but she's so happy.
Time just seemed to pass us by today, and before we knew it, the sun was setting and we thought, we haven't actually been to the lake that's meant to be nearby this parking spot. So we thought better late than never, and we grabbed a few things and wandered up away from the van up this hill, and it was just a 10-minute walk through some meadows until we reached the top and found the beautiful lake. It was getting pretty dark, but there is just something about the stillness of dusk that we wouldn't have got if we'd come here during the day. Like, the lake was almost perfectly still and there was nobody about, and the breeze was just very gentle. We already liked this wild camping spot, but knowing that this lake is only a 10-minute walk away probably makes it one of, if not the best wild camping spots we've ever found, and we're just so excited to dwell here for a while.
If you enjoyed watching this, there are loads more relaxing vlogs of our van life adventures in forests, meadows and mountains coming soon. So be sure to subscribe to our channel, where we share our simple life of freedom, parking our little cabin on wheels out here on the Wildside.